Hey everybody, it's Goblins and welcome back to some more Magic Arena. Today I'll be playing another Jumpstart event. The hunt for the Phyrexian pack continues. This is a special format where you spend 2,000 gold or 400 gems to grab two themed packs, shuffle them up, and duel against others who've done the same. So, pretty fun casual format here, and you do get some little random rare rewards for your first two wins. You can play as much as you want for that 2,000 gold. So it's just a nice chill time in between more competitive cube drafts. So let's see what we got here. I am, as always, hunting for the Phyrexian pack. And let's see how we do here. I think I'll go Elves out of Tree-Hugging Elves or Reanimated, since I've already done all of those, and I've done a lot of Reanimated recently. And no Phyrexian pack yet again. We have Goblins smashing in +1. Let's do Goblins and Elves. Pretty classic tribal stuff, been around since the very first set. And definitely a couple tribes that have had a ton of tribal lords in their times. Alright, here we are in game one with the Elves and the Goblins here. Not a great opening hand, we're not doing anything till turn 4, but we've got both our colors. This is pretty close to a limited format here in terms of the power level of the decks. So, shouldn't get punished too hard for keeping a slow hand here. Our opponent's on dogs and a black deck with a bubbling cauldron in it, so they probably have the Bog Brew Witch and all of that. Could Crushing Canopy to destroy... Oh no, this is the worst one. This one only destroys enchantments. There's a new one that's the same mana cost, but it destroys artifacts, enchantments, or flyers. Don't remember what that card is called. So we could outnumber something for 0 damage, but that seems bad. So we have Pack Leader here from the dog deck and Festering Newt with the Bubbling Cauldron. Have us lose 4 life. But just -1/-1, so they just kill 1 goblin. Yeah, we're fine to run out the Beetleback Chief here. Maybe lead into a Hunter's Edge next turn to kill the pack leader, or even an outnumber. And a concession from our opponent there. Jumpstart is a completely casual format where really nothing on the line. You just got to get those first 2 wins, doesn't matter how many times you lose. That was a really cool rare we just opened up, by the way. I want to take a look at that real quick. This is one of my favorite cards from Shards of Alara. 6 mana for a 4/4 flying artifact creature Sphinx. Whenever an artifact you control deals combat damage to a player, you create a 1/1 Thopter. So it's one of these cards that, like, technically it's not that great because it gets those Thopters pretty slowly over time. But there are a lot of really fun combos you can do with this to just amass a ridiculous field of Thopters. There are plenty of other cards for cheaper or the same cost that can do more damage more quickly or end the game faster, but this is just the kind of card I used to build around all of the time that really got me into artifact tribal stuff. Esper was my favorite tribe as soon as I saw cards like Sharding Sphinx in Shards of Alara, so really like that card. Kind of a classic card from the early days of when I used to play. Not the early days of Magic, 2009. I mean, the game had been out for, Lord, probably like 20 years. Probably even more. All right. So we are heading into another game here. I may do 3 games here just because that first game was kind of just the immediate concession from our opponent. Since nothing's on the line, you can run up against some players who will concede like that. I do record these Jumpstart videos when I have less time to record, so I can't do the full potentially 2-hour-long drafts. So I will have to bow out of here if this game goes incredibly long, but otherwise we'll go ahead and do a 3rd game after this, even if we do win. And we could very much just lose here. Drowsing Pteranodon followed up by a Griffinaries, pretty scary start. If they get any lifelink going on, they get 2/2 flyers. If they get any creature with power 4 or greater. Now they have a 3/3 attacking us. There's Bosri's Acolyte, a 2/3 lifelinker, luckily not big enough to gain enough life for the Griffinary, but that does make the Tyrannodon a 4/4, which triggers its own ability. That gets to start attacking in now. Do we want to just blow up the Griffinary before they potentially gain enough life? Maybe. I'll go ahead and attack with Boggart Brute. They can't even block. I think they are kind of winning the race here, which is not great. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and crush the Griffinary. I am just pretty worried about that. Although I am not sure what my game plan is here, because they are definitely outracing me in damage output right now. Oh boy, and now they have a Light of Promise on that Bosri's Acolyte. Whenever they gain life, it gets that many +1/+1 counters. Alright, well, definitely feels bad not having the Crushing Canopy now. So we have Makeshift Munitions and Goblin Heel Cutter. Neither of these are great, but maybe stacked together we can find a way to kill the Acolyte. I guess I could block with a Burn Bright and get there, so that'll be the plan this turn. We'll take 4 damage from Tyrannodon, deal 5 damage to the Acolyte with the Boggart Brute. May even go for a double block here, that way if they have an instant speed way to gain life, we don't just die. Because if we make this a 5/2 and then block their 4/5 and they have Revitalize, like 2 mana instant speed, gain 3 life, that will be all kinds of terrible. I am only 1 mana away from being able to use Allosaurus Shepherd's ability to turn all my elves into 5/5s till end of turn. Once I hit that, a 5/5 is big enough to block a Drowsing Tyrannodon anytime I can hold up the mana for that. So if they're out of cards here, we could stabilize Burn Bright plus Boggart Brute to trade into the Acolyte, and then next turn just holding up the mana for Allosaurus Shepherd to block the Drowsing Tyrannodon. But if they have like anything here, there are a lot of cards that could break through this position that I'm in. They are going to think it out here. Looks like they will be heading into combat now, attacking with just the Tyrannodon, playing around, I suppose, potentially the Burn Bright here. I think I'll just take it. Don't want to blow the Burn Bright and then not be able to kill the Bosri's Acolyte. Now we have a Goblin Arsonist. I'm just going to pass turn, so I have the mana to threaten Allosaurus Shepherd's ability and also to hold up Burn Bright. But it's looking real bad now. Secure the scene, get rid of the Allosaurus Shepherd. Yeah, I can't counter that. I could throw that at something for 1 damage, but that's not going to be enough to kill anything. They're still just not going to attack with Bosri's Acolyte. Because they don't want me to be able to double block and shoot at it, I guess. Well, I can't just keep taking 4 forever, so I'm going to just pop the Burn Bright here. But now I can just dump all these on the board and hold up a bunch of Makeshift Munitions mana. If they blow up the Munitions with Thrashing Brontodon, now we've drawn Titanic Growth, so we're fine. But otherwise the plan would just be chump blocks for a while, if I'm being entirely honest. So I would expect them to blow up the Munitions with the Brontodon here. Then I only have 4 power worth of creatures, but if I block with everybody, Arsonist dies, deals some more damage to the Acolyte, but that would probably resolve after the Acolyte would get more counters on it, so I don't think that would work. Titanic Growth definitely works to kill the Acolyte here. And do I want to play around an instant speed life gain spell? I think I should. Thankfully, they do not have one, so we get to just save all our creatures by throwing Titanic Growth onto the one they ordered first. And here's a Cultivate from our opponent, so they may just have lands in hand now. We might actually get there here. Just a land for us as well. They have quite a bit of breathing room here, so it's going to take a while to get them. They have a lot of time to top deck something good. But Hunter's Edge is a great draw. If they draw a small creature, we can get rid of it. Revitalize gains them some life, draws another card. Gives them basically a whole turn. More of action. Anointed Chorister is unfortunately a very big creature. They have the 5 mana to buff it up, so they can make it a 4/4 lifelinker. So we definitely can't attack in against that, unless we want to try to throw a Hunter's Edge at it here. Let's see what we hit off our Wayfinder. Get a 2/1 or a 3/3 Death Touch. 3/3 Death Touch definitely better. We'll throw that on top. Yeah, if I attack in, then if they block and choose to pump, then I can Hunter's Edge to finish it off for the next 3 damage, and all I lose is a soldier token, so that's okay. Even losing the Arsonist, that's probably okay. So yeah, it's okay to lose anything here. Just get in our attacks. Just get this Chorister off the board. Alright, so they do give it the buff. Hunter's Edge is going to finish it off, so we can just do 1 damage to their face. Get that big old 4/4 lifelinker out of here. Brightmare from our opponent. A 2/3, they gain some life, tap something down this turn. But we do have a 3/2 to keep attacking in here. And now we do have a 3/3 Death Touch as well. Angel of Mercy, a 3/3 flyer, and they gain 3 life. That is really bad for me. I do not have any flyers here, but Outnumber is the draw. Get that off the board. And send in the squad. Down to 15. I like our opponent's plays here. They don't have to trade with Wayfinder immediately when they're playing the life gain deck. They have a lot of stuff that'll randomly gain some. Ghalta, Primal Hunger. Get the 12/12 trample out. That likely just kills me. I have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 toughness. If I block it with everything, next turn I would survive. So I need to draw another creature here if I want to survive. Otherwise, I take 2, go to 4. I block that with everything. I just die from getting trampled over. So I think I do the double block here to kill Brightmare and hope for a decently sized creature to block with because I have 5 toughness. So I need 2 or more toughness to survive next turn. If I get 2 more toughness on this board, I can block that with 7 toughness and go to 1 instead of 0. But just the land means we will be going to 0 from Ghalta. So it looks like we will be heading into a 3rd game then with Elves and Goblins here. And I am going to keep this. Maybe should take that free mulligan here because I do need to hit the 3rd mana, but I do really like Presence of Gond. This is just a really fun card I've played around with a lot. There's a card called Midnight Guard that's also on Arena that untaps whenever a creature comes into play. So if you put this onto that card, you can just keep tapping and untapping it and get as many little elves as you could possibly want. I do need double red for Beetleback Chief, so we'll throw that on top there. And Ornery Goblin's ability to deal a damage to whatever blocks it means it can attack in as basically a 3/1 if that Pyreling tries to block. Ooh, Bloodrock Cyclops. 3 mana, 3/3 attacks each combat if able. I think I'm still attacking with the Ornery Goblin because it can trade into either of those. We are trading with the Pyreling here. Now, do I just start making 1/1s to chump with, or keep getting aggressive by getting a menace creature? I'll get a menace creature out here. The Cyclops has to attack, so we'll just not block it. Take that damage and then crack back at our opponent. Mana Geode is the play here. Looks like they are on mono red Seismic and Spellcasting Mountains, I believe. Spitting Earth deals damage to a creature equal to the number of mountains you control. So being mono red there, definitely really good with that. Get our Beetleback Chief out. Attack in for 2. This makes me really want to draft 10th edition. The Spitting Earth and Bloodrock Cyclops. Both cards from 10th edition if you look at the artwork. Although they may have been the same artwork on previous editions. I'm sure these were reprinted in a ton of core sets throughout the years. 10th edition was the newest core set out when I very first started playing, so it's a little bit before my time, but not much. Well, now they have great blocks, Heartfire Immolator and Kinetic Augur. And Heartfire Immolator can kill whatever I try to give Presence of Gone to. So I guess I'm just playing a Skyway Sniper and passing here, holding on to Crushing Canopy, but there's nothing to crush. No flyers, no enchantments. Definitely don't want to throw out this Presence of Gone to tell Heartfire Immolator's gone. So you can just do like that there, and then do that. Seems good to me. Whatever card they kill with the Heartfire Immolator, the Bloodrock Cyclops will also die, unless their final card in hand is a burn spell. These blocks should work out pretty well. If their final card in hand is a burn spell, this could work really poorly. They could like burn away the Beetleback Chief, kill both the Goblins. Heartfire Immolator gets Prowess, which kills the Wayfinder without it dying. Alright, no burn spell. Which means now that that Immolator is gone, we can start spitting out some tokens potentially here. Worst case scenario, we force them to use a removal spell on this 1/1 Goblin. Alright, 4/4. Our creatures without flying can't block this turn, so they get in for 2 with Kinetic Augur. Gotta love the elf goblin friendship here. Our goblin token spitting out his elf friends. Still don't have enough creatures to really block what they're doing here, which is a big problem now that they have Thermo Alchemist out to finish us off with the last couple points of damage. We can chump block here, but I think we need to establish enough blockers to actually kill something on blocks, and Wild Heart Invoker is a great draw for doing that. We only need 1 more mana, and we'll be able to use that card's ability in the future. Really buffing our field 1 creature at a time, but still can get in for a big attack with Trample. So we're 6 turns from dead to Thermo Alchemist. Unless they have more burn, then they can just throw a burn spell at our face and we're dead very quickly. Alright, Volcanic Geyser could have just dealt 5 damage to us, but I guess just the rubbins here deal it to the Wild Heart Invoker. Gives us another turn to live, though. Now we have enough blockers to actually kill the Seismic Elemental here. But we need an answer for the Thermo Alchemist immediately, or else it'll kill us when they untap. They deal 3 damage right now, deal a 4th damage with Thermo Alchemist as soon as they untap for turn. Thermo Alchemist finishes off the last point of damage. Dwynen's Elite is not going to clear out that Thermo Alchemist. So heading into a 4th game here. Okay. Got outnumbered and a ton of red mana, but can't cast most of the cards in hand, so I'll go for the free mulligan. We've got Presence of Gond again, but no creatures to put on board till turn 5, so I may mulligan again. And there we go. There's some 2-drops all over the place here, so we'll keep that. Actually, I don't have any red mana, which is bad. But I also don't like mulliganing to 5, so we'll just get really lucky. We'll draw a mountain immediately. It'll all pan out. If it doesn't, again, Jumpstart's a nice casual format, so it's all good. Do get to start hitting for 1, no matter what the land draws are. Tree-hugging forests from our opponent. And the cat deck as well, so mono-green deck from our opponent. Hold our 1/2 black back to trade with their cat. Although Nature's Way is just going to clear the 1/2 out of here. Got Joel Rail as well, so anytime they draw extra cards, they are spitting out cat tokens whenever they draw their second card each turn, so Joel Rail is a very powerful rare. They're just going in. Get out of here, Joel Rail. Show me the combat trick, because I am not ramping into anything in this elf deck. A Feral Invocation it is. Really good combat trick because it allows them to give a permanent buff to that Joel Rail, make her even harder to kill with removal. Yeah, none of these are great here. I suppose I'll go with the Instigator. If I draw something like Outnumber, I'll want removal that allows me to have as many creatures out as possible. And this plays better if they do have removal spell. We get to block the Initiate's Companion more likely. Crushing Canopy can get rid of that Feral Invocation out of nowhere, turn Joel Rail back into a 2/3, but we don't have the mana to cast Crushing Canopy and another blocker here, so we won't have enough power to trade with Joel Rail regardless. I think we just go with a 2/1 here. Don't really need to throw our 1/1s at their 1 toughness creatures when we can just block them if they ever try to attack with those. Ambassador Oak spreading out the field here. Thriving Bluff, unfortunately a tapped land. An untapped land would be exceptional there, because then we get to cast a makeshift munitions and hold on to Crushing Canopy. Here I think we have to just hold on to Crushing Canopy, which probably just gets us killed, because we have to double block Joel Rail to kill her. And if we double block Joel Rail, we don't have enough to block everything else. Right. 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, we can't go for the kill on Joel Rail here, or we die. If we do this, we take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, technically survive, get 2 things off the board, then we play a Beetleback Chief for enough creatures to chump block next turn. Yeah, Beetleback Chief gives us 3 creatures next turn. But there's 4 attackers now, and that is going to seal it here. We don't have enough mana to play 2 things. I guess we do. Like, we can makeshift munitions, but we don't have the mana to use it. after we play it with a Beetleback Chief. We could also play Goblin Commander, but that only deals with 2 things. Yep, very much dead there. We did draw a red source pretty quickly to where, just based on the regular power level of Jumpstart decks, wouldn't expect to get punished so hard there, but our opponent had a very, very spicy cat deck coming at us hard alongside those tree huggers. Alright, now this is probably the best hand that we've had in a little while. Leaf Gilder turn 2 ramps into Battle Rattle Shaman on turn 3. We have a Presence of Gone for later to start spitting out a million creatures. Gifted Aetherborn will start things for our opponent. A very good card there. Do get to ramp into a Beetleback Chief here as well instead of the Battle Rattle. Do like that. Elvish Archdruid from our opponent, so vampires and elves from our opponent here. Kind of like going for the Battle Rattle Shaman and just start attacking it with a 3/1 Goblin every turn. That seems pretty good. We have Titanic Growth, and then we'll have 2 mana up if we go for Titanic Growth here, so we just play a Skyway Sniper with it. That doesn't seem as impressive. Let's get a Battle Rattle out. Start attacking it with an annoying little 3/1 Goblin every turn. And now we still get to hold up the double block of a 2/2 and a 1/1 on their Death Toucher. It would all trade because it does have Death Touch, but I do want to get that out of here. I think it's going to be real annoying. The Elves deck could have Titanic Growth, so that would be not great for us here. But not disastrous because it's pretty bad for us regardless because the 6 life gain. And Nocturnal Feeder in the sky. Skyway Sniper is really nice. We can just snipe that right now. That seems like a solid enough play to me. So if I'm going to kill Gifted Aetherborn, I do need to hold up 3 power blockers. I don't think I'm going to want to do that, so let's just get in. Let the Aetherborn hit me this turn. Bloodbond Vampire. Well, now I do really want to kill the Gifted Aetherborn because the life gain matters a lot. If it is going to be making a Bloodbond Vampire bigger as well. So now we can Boggart Brute and hold up Titanic Growth. This is the only creature that'll be able to attack this turn with the pump. No blocks from our opponent. Send in the Aetherborn, that'll just trade with Boggart Brute, that's fine with me. Get to hold on to Titanic Growth for a rainy day. Agonizing Siphon to kill the Battle Rattle Shaman. I could Titanic Growth here, but I think that would be worse than saving it to potentially kill the Bloodbond Vampire. Because that thing is getting absolutely massive, and our deck has nothing but damage-based removal, so it's the only way we're possibly going to deal with that. Is a multi-block with a Titanic Growth backup. And Sanguine Indulgence too to return some stuff from the grave. Very bad for us. Well, Presence of Gone, start getting some elf tokens again. Kind of just hoping for a massively powerful Muxus in the future. Don't know if they're going to have any instant speed life gain. We know 2 of their cards. They're both sorcery speed creatures. They have 2 cards we don't know about. I could go for the 1-for-1 trade with the Leaf Gilder here, but then the Muxus, or I'm sorry, the 2-for-1 trade, Leaf Gilder plus Titanic Growth, but then I don't get to cast Muxus if I draw another land. Kind of do want to do that. I think we'll go for this. Let's see if this works here. Now we're trading for Skyway Sniper and Titanic Growth. If they don't have an instant. Alright, very nice. That has been dealt with. Now we gotta worry about that Nocturnal Feeder being probably the scariest thing because it can have flying. Just a Crushing Canopy to kill the Presence of Gond here, and then the Gifted Aetherborn, I assume. Oh, they do have Nocturnal Feeder mana because of Elvish Archdruid. Well, I could play a 3/3 Death Touch, or I could play a Goblin Arsonist here. Goblin Arsonist is kind of nice, because then they can't attack in. As soon as the Arsonist dies, I kill the feeder, but I don't have any sacrifice. Well, I do have makeshift munitions in this deck, but if I draw makeshift munitions, I can already use it to kill the feeder by sacrificing one of these 2. So I think I will just go with the 5/5, or the 5/5, the 5 mana 3/3 Death Toucher here. Veto, Thorn of the Dusk Rose, is another bad time for us. Now we lose life whenever they gain life, and they can give their whole field lifelink. Yeah, I don't think there's any way out now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That drains me for 7. They hit for 2 in the sky. 7, 8, 9 damage. We don't die next turn, but we die incredibly soon. Wildheart Invoker as the draw. We do have Hunter's Edge now. They have enough mana with the Archdruid to start using the Wildheart Invoker to give things +5/+5 trample, so I almost think that we need to kill the Wildheart Invoker before we kill Veto, even though Veto is also really bad. Yeah. The Arsonist does hold them off from attacking with any ground creatures, because if it dies, it kills Nocturnal Feeder. But if they attack with their ground creatures, we can also trade with those, although we will take a lot of damage off of Veto's effect. We'll still take that damage even if we block with Goblin Arsonist. So whenever they have lethal off of Veto's effect, they can go for it regardless. They're 1 damage off from lethal right now, because they get 2 guaranteed to put us to 8, and if they use Veto's effect with lifelink on their whole field, they put us down to 1 by attacking him with everybody. Alright, now we are just dead next turn to Veto's effect by attacking him with all the ground troops as well. We'll see if Muxus does anything here. Ooh, does get a Goblin Commando. We can kill the flyer, but Veto will still kill us. Yeah. Yeah, Veto just unfortunately kills us here. I guess our only hope would be if we shoot Veto and then attack with Goblin Arsonist and they block. But that would be really, really unlikely. What's more likely, that they block Goblin Arsonist and maybe we get to kill Veto there, or that they don't realize that they can kill us with Veto's effect? I feel like both are pretty unlikely, but if they miss something here, I think they'd be more likely to miss just giving lifelink to the field and attacking. because they'd be like, well, all my creatures will die first. I don't know. It's possible it happens. Oh. They could also just have Crater Hoof Behemoth. Where we're mega dead. Already just dead to Gifted Aetherborn without that, but now extra supremely dead. There's 9 blocking on the Crater Hoof Behemoth now. Here's another toughness so I don't get trampled over. 4, 5, 6 toughness on the Aetherborn. We block all of the damage this way, but the life gain makes it so we still take 6. And now is the point where I got to take it into high gear here. I guess I didn't block every damage. But yeah, now is at that point. We are past the half-hour mark. I'm going serious mode because I do not have much more time. I feel like I played against this player earlier. All right. Serious mode, fast mode. Let's win this game. Is this hand keepable? We do have tapped red mana on turn 1. We can get Ornery Goblin turn 2, Beetleback Chief later. Keepable enough. I don't think this Elves Goblin deck is working very well. I feel like our opponents have had a lot better, more consistent decks. That Vampires deck was brutal. It had removal, it had late game recursion, which was like card draw there with the Sanguine Indulgence. And the big old Crater Hoof Behemoth, just a fantastic game ender as well with an Elvish Archdruid to ramp it out. Alright, Malik here. Familiar, Flying Death Touch when the gain life gets +1/+1 until end of turn, so not quite a... not quite in a Johnny's Pride mate. Still pretty good. Alright, we're curving out really well here, thanks to drawing that Allosaurus Shepherd. Tons of power on the board real quick. We're going to dump a Beetleback Chief next turn. Very aggressive start. Our opponent's on dogs and witches, I think. Yep, there's the Festering Newt. Festering Newt pretty good against us here, because when it dies, they get to throw -1/-1 at one of our creatures, which kills one of these things. So I think we just attack with the Vanquisher and the Ornery Goblin here. We can get a Battle Rattle Shaman out here as well. Let that Vanquisher hit for more, I suppose. So now Vanquisher trades for Companion, Goblin trades for Newt. Well, I guess they do just pop the Death Toucher here. Was not expecting the Death Toucher to get popped there. I would rather trade into the Flying Death Toucher than trade into the 3/1 dog. So I'm pretty happy with that circumstance. It's a better trade than I was expecting. But they may have some dog tribal cards in hand, and they want to have as many dogs out as possible here. Could be the choice. Trusty Retriever coming in as a 3/4. Dwynen's Elite. That's going to be 2 elves off the 1 card, but we can also Beetleback Chief for 3 goblins. I think I just buff the Ornery Goblin, get in with that again. It trades with the Festering Newt, and then I don't have to deal with that. Or it trades with anything else, but Festering Newt is definitely the weakest creature on their board, so that is where I would expect it to trade. Alright, they do kill the Goblin. I'm actually going to go for the Dwynen's Elite here, because it gets me 1 less creature here. I get 1 less 1/1, but now Munitions is just on the board. So I can throw like my 1/1 token at their Cathar's Companion. Clear out some blockers. This is especially better if I get lucky and just like top deck a land here. Not going to block here because I'm trying to be on the aggressive. I can take that damage to just crack back into them. Pack Leader is the play. Whenever that attacks, all of their dogs take no damage. Doesn't really do anything on blocks, so just attack in with everybody and accept any trades that happen here. We can get the Pack Leader out, which seems good. Save our Allosaurus Shepherd because it would trade with the companion if the pack leader leaves the board. They got out a 9. Do we want a bunch of chump blockers, or do we want to start throwing some damage around with munitions? We can sacrifice the 2 1/1s to kill the pack leader. Then they have a 3/1, so I could play Skyway Sniper and trade with the 3/1 there. I think I just want the Beetleback Chief out here. Munitions is actually getting pretty close to us being able to just shoot them. Bacon to a pie. Gonna get rid of the Allosaurus Shepherd and get a food token to gain some life. Definitely explains some of their aggression here. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Fine by me. They are at 12. Take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. They are very dead on board right now with makeshift munitions. And there is the concession because of that. So that will be the second win for us. Did take a while. Took longer than I thought it would after that first game. Let's see what our final rare out of Jumpstart is before we head off for the day. Sangromancer. Really, really strong commander card. Deceptively strong card. Where this was a jank rare for quite a while from Scars of Mirrodin, I believe. But I don't remember when it happened. Maybe it happened immediately and I just didn't notice. But people were like, wait a second. If somebody plays a Wrath effect in a commander game with this on the board, I'm going to gain 1,000,000 life. If somebody plays a Wheel effect with this on the board in commander, I'm going to gain 1,000,000 life, where everybody discards their hand and draws a new hand, or destroy all creatures. Both of those kind of effects, which are pretty prevalent in commander, lead to you just gaining 1,000,000 life with this on the board. So really good card in life gain commander decks. So definitely have seen it a decent bit there. Very cool to own for if they do put Commander on Arena. As I said before, I would really, really like to see multiplayer on Arena for like 4-player Commander games, because while Historic Brawl technically sort of is Commander, it's just 1v1 Commander, and cards like Sangromancer are kind of my favorite Commander cards where they really shine because of the multiplayer aspects of things. So I'm just going to double check the daily deals real quick. All right, and that will end today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, you can always like, comment, subscribe, all these things to let the YouTube algorithm know you're enjoying the content and you want to see more. And as always, thank you very much for watching. I will see you again tomorrow for another Chromatic Cube draft.